nose, dude. I'd like to see that motherfucker skate like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That guy, man, even the
Put him
Boston
in that
fans
thing.
chirp him.
Yeah, I know. I got lit up though by like favorites and shit. The guy chirping me. So.
Oh yeah.
I talking to the mic like we're going.
We are.
What's this shit?
All right, Bullen, we're going. Thanks for coming to the show, man. Appreciate
No worries.
it.
Thanks for having me, man.
How was the drive in?
Long.
Was it?
Yeah.
What's the
Dangerous, man. hydroplane.
Dangerous, man.
You still got your winners on?
Oh yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Me too.
Do you?
My summers are at my girlfriend's father's house, so I gotta go get them sometime.
Can I just do a quick shout out to somebody who you guys would know better than me, Mr. Brandon Boutlier, if you're listening. It's kind of shitty they left you out, so
The killer
maybe
bees.
get at the boys for that. Anyways, moving on.
You think he's actually mad?
Oh, he's pissed right now.
Boots, my bad, buddy. We're gonna get you on over the summer here. We got tons of podcast guests lined up. We're gonna squeeze you in.
Learn to formulate a sentence for a little bit, and then we'll bring it in.
Did I mess that sentence up?
No, him.
Oh. Bullen, you're going to be impressed with the intro when you listen to the podcast, the first start. I'm hyping you up big time because it's true. You were probably my favorite line mate I've ever had. I enjoyed playing with you. You made the sport of hockey not easy, but you just made it more enjoyable. I think you and I clashed or gelled together well. So essentially, I guess talk about the beginning of you playing hockey, where you found your skill set, your speed, and how did you know that you were going to dominate the sport of hockey at such a young age? Because your name was out there at a young age.
That goddamn red helmet.
The red Cooper
The
crash.
red Cooper, buddy. That's how I knew you. There he is. Found him.
That was about 7 sizes too. That was my cousin's, and he's 10 years older than me. And that was his helmet when he went into, I think it was like Pee Wee to Bantam, and I took it over. Had all of his old gear, so all the gear was huge on me, like everything, anyways. But it was. I grew up in Eastern Shore in Porters Lake. Played for the Mariners, so I've been losing since I was a kid, essentially. No, it was fun down there. We always knew we weren't the greatest team around, but it was always, we just played for the hell of it. It was just a fun time.
You guys loved it.
We loved it.
Same as everybody else, right?
Exactly.
You guys just didn't have the kids.
It was when we won. It's like every win was like a Stanley Cup victory, but. It wasn't.
It's true.
Yeah, it is. When you win few and far between there, it's a blast when you finally do win. So that was it was tough at times, but overall it wasn't bad. Skill set wise, I have no idea. Like, my parents ever played sports. My dad played baseball. That's about it.
Really? No hockey in the family?
No, you ask him. He played boot hockey in Cape Breton.
What's boot hockey?
You just put on your winter boots, go out on a pond, and he says it's a league and everything. He's like, oh yeah, we played teams in all these other Cape Breton communities. I was like, Dad, that's not a league. He's like, we had a league. We had different teams, and we'd go, we'd play, we'd fight. It was a fun time.
We'd fight.
Yeah, so I don't know. You don't argue with Spike too much because then he just gets mad at you. But
You don't argue with a guy named Spike. You just don't.
No. So honestly, I honestly don't know where I got the love to play, but I started skating at a young age, and my cousin Brett we used to go to public skates or whatever, and he would just cruise around the rink. He was a great skater, and my parents said one day I came home, I was about 3, and they said I was pissed off that he was buzzing around. I had those little blades that tie onto your shoes.
Oh yeah.
The double blades?
Yeah. And I would try to skate on them, but I'd come out of them, like I'd fall right out of them. And they said that I just got mad that he was buzzing around, so eventually they bought me a pair of skates, and I was just running on ice to get by him and stuff. So that's how I started, and then
3 years old.
got into hockey. Yeah, it's my mom was very hesitant because when I was 3, I broke my neck, so she was like, "Oh, I don't want you to play hockey."
How'd you break your neck?
Actually, she wanted me to play more than my father did at the time. But
How'd you break your neck?
just being a kid.
Yeah.
Just jumping off a playground, and I did a flip in air and landed on the back and snapped one of my vertebrae.
Was it like a real bad bat? Like, were you in like one of those metal frames?
Oh yeah, I should have brought the photo. I had a cast from my head down to my waist.
Are you serious?
No.
And so
as a baby, like a 3-year-old, that's still an infant.
I have photos of it, and I had a little hole for my belly button, and
That explains why you're so small, man. Stunted your growth.
Man, I'm probably about 4 inches taller. I just don't know.
Oh my God, had you not broken your neck, you'd be at least 5 feet.
Right? Like Lucic. But no, it's so
That's crazy.
That happened, and it's like I said, I have the cast, and I was so light then. I was probably about at 3, I was probably about 30 pounds, 35 pounds.
Wow.
And the cast, my parents had to hold me because the cast was so heavy that I would start tipping.
The things you find out, you know.
So that was my life growing up.
I wanted to ask you. You said you weren't really sure where you got the love of the game. Was road hockey a big thing in your guys' community? Like,
Oh yeah.
because that's, I know,
Good
like
question.
for me personally, that's just kind of what keeps you engaged. It keeps your skills sharp, I guess. But in road hockey, it's just a different game, right? Like you get way more bumps and bruises, sticks off the shin, that kind of stuff. So I was just wondering if maybe that had an effect on the love of the game.
Honestly, I don't think I played road hockey until I started actually playing hockey itself.
Really?
But I grew up. I first lived in Lake Echo in the trailer park there, and so I was an official trailer park boy.
Fucking right, man. That's huge.
Did you like the show?
Oh yeah, I love the show.
There you go.
But
You can relate.
Stupid question.
I can relate, man. No, but so once I started playing, we had kids we would have games of like 20 kids out there in front of my house playing ball hockey all the time. Or
Were you the guy though to organize the games, like you said, in front of your house? So were you the guy like, oh, let's go over to Bullen's place and play, or was there another group of kids?
there's usually a few of us. There was a couple spots you could just pick up your stick. Like I'd wake up, have breakfast, go out to the shed, grab my twig, and just walk around the streets of the trailer park.
Yeah.
And you could just jump into a game here and there.
I love it.
Is there anybody that you're still friends with like these days from that crew that you can remember?
No, I wouldn't say friends. There's still some people I talk to and I see them and stuff
For
like
sure,
that.
yeah.
But not really. I'm a pretty
Secluded?
What?
Secluded guy?
Yeah, I like to stick to myself, so I don't really jump out at people much. Like I don't really reach out too often.
Well, you're begging to be on this podcast, so I don't know if I can agree with that. You're
That's
texting
true.
me every day to
Behind
try
the
to come
screen, buddy,
on.
behind the screen.
Are you that 902 number I was giving a shout to?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so. I wasn't sure. But
Okay, no, you keep going.
no, I'm good, man. That's I don't think I'm friends. Well, to me, anyone that I talk to, if I consider you a friend at one point, I'm still your friend.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I don't hang out with them on a regular basis type thing.
Yeah, that was one of my questions.
Yeah. So when you're playing hockey and in the not minor leagues, like novice,
hockey?
pee-wee, Bantam, whatever, you're definitely a guy that, like I said, was a name in Nova Scotia that, you know, was quick, was fast, same thing. A playmaker, head on a swivel, head up, things like that. When you were younger, let's say Timbits, what's after Timbits? Novice?
Adam.
Well,
I guess novice.
Timbits and office app.
Timbits,
Yeah.
not. Did you know, maybe even your parents, did you guys almost look at each other like, okay, where did this skill come from? How did I develop this? Because you're such a natural skater. You're such a natural passer. I remember the first time I ever saw you play, I don't think I ever saw your head go down.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad came and got me. He goes, see this kid? We didn't know who you were at the time. See this kid? His head's up. His stick is on the ice. He is aware of where he is. He's not looking at his skates. He's not looking at his stick. He's aware. And I remember that was the first time, you know, when your dad's pulling you aside to like, look at this guy, do this.
Yeah.
And I remember ever since that time, I was like, okay, who's this guy? Bullen. So that must have come from somewhere. You must have been watching hockey. You must have, like, where did that come from?
Honestly, like you can ask my parents too. My grandfather was a pretty good goalie. My uncle was a really good goalie actually as well. He
Weirdos.
yeah, who wants to be a goalie? But no, he was from what I heard anyway, he was the goalie to it's Wendell Young from here, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he was the starting goalie for Wendell Young and was asked to go to the OHL or something like that, and he refused to because he wanted to join the military and just get on with life. So then they grabbed Wendell instead. So I don't know, maybe that's where the hockey, I mean, he turned out well for him. Like he's a great goalie,
Yeah,
right?
it couldn't have worked out better.
Yeah,
actually.
but so I don't know if maybe like some genes like that came by, but I remember as a kid, my parents would ask me like, "How'd you do that?" I'm like, "I don't know." I literally just went out and played, man. I didn't really practice. Like I'd always have a mini stick in my hand around the house and stuff, or like I said, ball hockey a lot afterwards. But I never practiced. Like I remember trying to do fancy stuff at one practice. I was in probably novice. I was trying to do it's known as the Crosby now.
Yeah.
And my dad came over.
Should have been called the Bullen.
Came over to the bench and he's calling me over. I'm like, yeah. He's like, don't do that stupid stuff again. He's like, you're here to get better. You don't need to do fancy stuff like that. Just skate and shoot the puck. And I was like, all right. So like, I never practice all like toe drags and stuff like that. That just came at the spur of the moment type thing.
Were you a competitive kid? Like, because I know you said like, and I mean, we know this. I don't know why I said you said this, but Eastern Shore was more of like they lost more than they won. Let's just say that. But like when you're losing all the time and you're constantly still like you're trying to win, even though in the back of your mind, there's still like a 90% chance you're going to lose no matter how good you guys play, right? Because there was only a few guys. That's just the way it was. There wasn't that many kids.
And you're the best player on the team every single year, and probably better than the kids you're playing against.
Yeah, my age group for Eastern Shore was a little rough. I mean, the year below me and the year below them was pretty good. Like they had some good names like Desmond and Hawes. And then like the year above them would have been like Brett Baker, guys like that. So they were a pretty good group of kids too. But like my age group was
pull the mic a bit closer. Sorry, stop.
Yeah. My age group was a little rough, but
that happens all the time.
Yeah, I think. You obviously always want to win, and I always wanted to win. I hate losing. I hate losing board games or anything like that.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, did it just eat at you the whole time, but you just, you kind of just deal with it?
There was some drives in minor hockey when I'd get in the car and I'd be close to tears because I'd be so frustrated because I just want to like...
Yeah, you want everybody to be better, but they just like, can't, right?
I never really worried about like personal goals and stuff like that, but like I wanted to win, and like I knew I was like trying to help my teammates get better as well. But at the same time, it's just like a skill difference, right?
Well, obviously you're not worrying about personal goals when you're putting up 9 goals a game in novice AA, like.
But yeah, but I mean, like. Honestly, it was fun to win. Like we had a couple years, like we played novice tier 2. We went tier 1 for 1 year. Or for the half year or whatever it was.
I remember you guys lost to Halifax.
21-1.
Yeah, at the Coal Harbor place.
Oh,
and you scored the only goal.
It might have been, yeah. I don't even remember.
You still had the red helmet then.
Oh, yeah. And Stephen Anthony probably had like 19 goals that game. I don't even remember, but...
So then it went, yeah.
It was... but Eastern Shore always did that to me. They would always they would always have a tier 1 team so that I couldn't go to like Coal Harbor or something. And then they'd drop after the deadline down to AA.
Oh,
so that's the reason why I always played AA growing up. Is because they always went AAA, knowing damn well we couldn't compete at all, and then we dropped down. But yeah, to answer your question, it was frustrating at times, but I mean, you kind of come to terms with it. Like I said, there was still times in like Bantam and stuff when I would get super frustrated, but you just kind of learn with it. I think it kind of humbles you a bit too.
Helps you out later in life, man.
Absolutely.
Like when you get to the tougher ranks, junior and stuff like that, major, where it starts to almost become a business, and like potentially your livelihood.
Yeah.
Then it's I guess if you learn to lose before you learn to win, I think that's a better path for you to take. Not everybody can do that, right? Because it's
for sure. Like when we our max team. That was one of my funnest years of hockey.
Well, that was my next question.
We won and like we had a good team. Like there was a lot of skill. And like I'm one of those guys that when I'm not the best on the team, I like to elevate my game because I like to be the best.
But not tell anybody, No,
exactly. Yeah. Like not in a selfish way. I'm just like, all right, like so Dylan King, unreal.
Let's elevate.
Yeah, you, Belly, even Campbell at that time. Campbell was a good player. Like
our whole team.
Wiggy,
really.
like exactly. So I'm seeing these guys. I'm like, all right, I want to like compete with them. I want to. Everyone's talking about them. I want to be in that conversation too. But I never had that growing up in Eastern Shore. It was just always, and like I didn't like everyone focusing on me either. But like
true, you didn't like to be the big fish in the small pond, right?
So was there any transition for you playing with the Max that first year, always being the guy to go to all of a sudden transitioning to this is a team game right now? Kirk was a great coach on that team. He was able to play a great system. Did you have any transition or tough transitions going into that league that season? Fuck, I can't talk.
Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think it was as hard as I thought it was going to be. Like the league itself was hard. Like it's obviously a step up from what you're used to playing. I mean, I played high school the year before and house league the year before that, so it was a massive jump.
House league
before you had grade 10.
What?
I was one of those weird birthdays. Like grade 9 was my first year midget.
Really?
Yeah. So I played house league my first year, and so like skill wise, it was a jump. But
you would have had the speed no matter what.
Yeah,
you were still faster than most people that played like me for 3 years.
Yeah, I knew I had speed. That's literally all I had because I wasn't a strong kid
and awareness.
at all. Like I was,
great awareness.
Hockey sense.
Well, that's what happens when you're under 5 feet.
Yeah, it's either that or get your head taken.
Well, you wouldn't be playing.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was. I knew a lot. I knew a lot of the guys. Like I knew you. I knew Kinger. I knew a few others. So I felt comfortable in the transition, and I also knew like, all right, we're surrounded by good guys and good team. So I kind of made it. I enjoyed it, man. I didn't like being the center of attention, so I like to just go and do my thing, and that's what I got to do on that team.
I actually mentioned the other day, I can't remember who it was to, but this was like this week, and I was just thinking about, because I think we were talking about having you on the podcast, and I was like, you know what? That midget team, I'm literally still friends with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like I talk to you all the time, whether it's chirping you on Twitter or whatever. Obviously you, like Tommy, Richard Tingley, Wig. Like he comes in like 5th on this list.
Yeah.
But just like, and you just have connections everywhere else. Like I ref with Kyle Campbell's dad, so like you have that those interactions again. But it's just like everybody on the team. You know, if I see them, it's like, yeah, man, big hug, that kind of shit. Because it just goes back to what you said. It was probably one of my favorite years too.
Remember
I
that?
had to get it off my chest.
Remember that time Clarky came down with the fridge? Clarky's dad, sorry.
Yeah.
We're all sitting there in practice, and then he just comes down with the not forklift. What's it called? It's on
dolly.
a dolly,
Yeah.
and he's just he's got the dolly going
just
down
carrying
the
it in the
hall.
middle of that was hilarious. And man, that was a fun year. And then so Ferris's dad gave us all the Gatorade and
Chocolate
milk.
Yeah, that was
Granola
great.
bars.
Granola bars.
Do you remember what's the trainer that year? We were in the triple overtime game against the subs, and he was just harping on us about drinking half and halves. So the boys were putting back full Gatorades, and he's like, "Boys, half and halves. Like half and halves is the way to fucking hydrate yourself, boys." Like he's like coming over, whacking Gatorade out of your hand. Share it with the guy beside you.
That was a crazy game, man.
What one?
Yeah.
Oh, it was insane.
And Henneberry, like he stepped
First
on the
goal
ice by
year.
mistake. He wasn't even supposed to be out there. It was a switch on, and like they did a change or whatever, and he snuck out. I still joke with him about it today.
That's
And
hilarious.
He just pokes it in.
It's another guy I forgot to mention, Henny.
I remember going back to the Civic the next day for practice or to take our gear somewhere, and it was just so silent. And the night before, less than 24 hours ago, it was jam-packed, so loud, so exciting. I don't know how many people were there, but it was packed.
I have pictures for that dad took, and the place is jammed.
Yeah.
Like everywhere as you look, there's people like looking through people's head, like shoulders and shit.
Because they would have been backed up probably. Like if there was people after us, they would have been backed up.
You know
maybe.
what? That's a good point. I never thought about
Two
that.
ice sessions, right?
The extra traffic.
Oh, yeah.
That's two extra like teams or whatever waiting to
full
go on.
games.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm pretty sure the glass broke during that game, and Buddy had to come out on his little
I think
tractor
you're
there and
right.
fix
I
the
think you're
glass.
right.
Fix the
Probably
glass.
my shot.
What's that?
Probably my shot.
Yeah, the muffin. And I'm
probably
pretty
what
sure
he
Buddy. Remember when we won the game? He came into the room, Buddy, the Zamboni driver. Do you remember that?
The big guy, the big
guy,
lad?
big guy. He came into the room after and he tried to celebrate with us.
Yeah.
Kirk wasn't having it. He's like, "You got to get out of here, Buddy."
He was the one that always wore the overalls, like the big
Buddy.
boy. Yeah.
That's his name, Buddy. That's what
Oh, is that
everybody
his
called
actual
him.
name?
Yeah, Buddy.
That's a great name for him, Buddy.
Well, yeah, hey, Buddy.
Remember when he came out on the thing? He gave the crowd a wave because the tractor he was on was going 2 miles an hour.
That's right. I do remember now that you say that. I remember.
And the broken glass was at the far end of the
Yeah,
ice,
that's
so
right,
it
yeah.
took him 5 minutes to get there. He could have got there quicker just walking.
And then there was Phil. Remember Phil, the blind guy?
Yeah,
He always
Phil.
used to roam around and try
He
to
used to
find
watch us. You used to mess with him all the time. Not mess with him, but he when we used to warm up upstairs.
He'd always be fucking around up there, so I just lead him out the door, man. It was harmless. Look
Yeah,
over
he
here,
tried
man.
to take our ball from us when we were warming up once.
Man, there's some
Clarky was messing with him too. It wasn't just me, folks. There was other guys too.
I'm just throwing
It wasn't like just innocence. Like,
Yeah.
We're messing
innocent
with
fun.
him.
Yeah.
Well, he always used to watch. I shouldn't have said watch, but he always used to be around us when we're warming up. It was funny. It was
funny. Yeah, it was
funny.
hilarious.
There's some funny characters around that rink, man. I hope
Just
they never.
any rink.
That's true. There's always a guy. Masher's always a guy at a rink.
He's not anymore, though. I don't know where the fuck
Did he
is.
die?
Well, I don't know if I
No,
go there right away.
I heard a
but-
story about him I think last month or something. Someone was telling me that they saw him
Saw him where?
at one of the rinks. I think it was around here, or it might have been Moncton, actually.
My guess would have been the Metro Transit. Chew Central for that guy.
Man, that guy, my only master story I have was actually with the Max. It was one of the first practices.
I got a similar story.
And I was
Same
at the
time frame.
And I came right from school because like I had to go, like I got picked up at school right to practice, and I was at the vending machines in the Forum.
Yeah.
And I was waiting on Mike and Ike's or something like that.
Stealing money is what you were
Ringolos
doing.
or something. And it was just like, there was a group of us and they all left. So I was like, all right, the Forum freaks me out. Anything in Halifax freaks me out anyway at that time. And then this guy comes up behind me and I'm just like, oh, hey man. He's like, who are you? I was like, I play for the Max. I didn't want to give him my name. He's like, what number? I was like, 3. He's like, oh, Jake Bullen from Eastern Shore. I was like, fuck. Yeah, like, okay. I just walked away. And then guys were like, yeah, that's Masher. We saw him coming, so we walked away. I was like, oh, sick, man. Thanks.
Anybody who doesn't know Masher, when you are 15 years old or 16, 17 years old, whatever, and you're 3'5", and this weird, like, he's not a pleasant looking guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's missing teeth. He looks like he crawled out from underneath the bus. So when he's sitting there at the vending machines telling you who you are,
Yeah.
it's probably not the best feeling. You're like, okay, see you later, buddy.
He looks like Jack Sparrow's brother or something.
That's actually pretty accurate. Well, same, very similar story, Max. He's sitting by, you know how you can connect that door from the Forum to the Civic right there where that the dressing room is for the Max? And there's like those seats right there along the boards when you go to the right. So he's sitting right there. I'm going over to the vending machine as well to get some chips because it's after school. I'm starving. On the way back, he stops me. I have my backpack on for some reason. So we start talking about school in the West. And he's like, how are your grades? And then all of a sudden, he starts pitching me on schools in the States. He's like, oh, if you keep your grades up and you keep the points up and you keep the goals up, I think we're 1-2 games into the season. Yeah. Like, we don't have any record at all. He's like, well, if you keep playing this way, I could make some things happen for you. The guy's like trying to recruit me. I'm like, all right, man. Like, it was one of those conversations where you couldn't get out of. Yeah. And how old are we? 15, 16? You don't know how to leave a conversation. You're not
just walk away.
He's a grown man. You gotta pretend like you're. Anyways.
I wonder if there's anybody that has a story where Masher came up, pitched them some shit, but it fell through, like it not fell through, but it happened.
No, someone was telling me a story about how someone actually believed him, and these kids went to like Minnesota or something on his word, saying like, yeah, you got a spot on the team. Something like that did happen. I don't know who's told me the story, but when you're on those bus rides along Campbellton, you get the stories, and Masher did come up, and a story like that. I just want to know
if it was a success. I want to know if there's any success to any of his nonsense that he was always spitting. Like he says that to a guy, shows up and they're like, fuck, you told us about, and you're just like,
I wouldn't trust a guy like that.
No, well, you don't. That's why I want to know.
All right, let's get back to Bullen here.
Great, can't wait.
Junior hockey, you went to Miramichi. Probably one of the better places to play in Junior A, one of the worst places to go to and play against.
Toughest teams.
Talk about your first year Junior A in Miramichi there.
Well, I was drafted to the Lumberjacks at first. Basically, the whole Max team was at one point, and we were like the pipeline for them. But then I got a call from it was actually Aaron King, and he was saying, "Yeah, I heard that you're playing Junior C this upcoming year." And I was like, "No, I don't think so. Like, I don't know what you mean."
What is that?
Because I guess Bridgewater and the Clippers had like an agreement of some sort.
Yes, they did.
And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Like, I haven't heard anything." And he was scouting for Miramichi at the time, so then. I think he got me. I never really asked him it or anything, but I think he got me traded to Miramichi, and then I go up there. And
how'd you get there? Obviously drive, but who'd you go with?
Yeah,
my
details.
Mom.
Elaborate.
Old Vicky.
Oh, Vicky drove,
go figure. She drove me everywhere.
Yeah, she
the Red
did a lot for me. Yeah, it was the Red Rocket.
You know what's funny now that I think about this? That car looks similar to your helmet, Novice. It did. Did
you stop at Subway or anything? McDonald's on the drive up?
I don't recall, man.
Did you drink coffee at the time?
Too many concussions. I can't remember all that.
And then you're going to play in your machine.
And then so we're driving there, and we got lost. We ended up in like Capella or whatever like that for a bit, and we had no idea.
Early.
What's that?
You got lost early.
Yeah, we took a wrong turn.
Yeah, you're supposed to take a left there, not
a right.
It
was a disaster of a drive up. And anyway, we got up there, and Rudy was there. So Justin Rude got drafted there too. So we stayed at the hotel with his dad and him, and it was an interesting city or town, I guess. I don't even know what it's considered, a town, I guess.
Yeah, talk about it. After you signed the autograph, checked into the hotel, then what happened?
It just I was kind of like, well, okay, this could be where I'm living, I guess. Like,
so you didn't deny that you signed autographs?
I didn't sign autographs.
Oh, okay.
No one in Miramichi knows or knew who I was.
Okay.
I played about 9 games there.
Why only that many?
Just healthy scratch. I played the showcase with it was a long story. So basically I jumped up in there, and I had a good training camp. Like, I trained all summer at Lee Alges. That was the first year I ever trained for hockey in
at
my
the
life.
Apartment buildings.
Yeah,
nice.
I love that place, man. Lobby? It's something else. Like, you wouldn't believe it unless you're there. Yeah, but it works, man. What they do is insane. Like, I've never been in better shape in my life. And like I did like the most chin-ups and stuff there. Like, I was like in peak shape because I really wanted to play junior A. I didn't want to go back and play because I was done midget at that time. So it would have been probably high school, which I had nothing against high school. I had a blast when I played there, but I was ready just to kind of move on and play something higher.
If you're going to progress each year, why not keep doing it?
Well, exactly, right. And so eventually I made the team, had a decent start. Like, I was nothing. They were a big team. I was the shortest player by far. Like, usually I am, but they were like, the closest to me was probably like 6'1", and like they were massive. And So I knew I didn't really fit in right away because like these guys they were good guys and everything, but they were big boys that hit and fought everything.
Yeah,
and I was just,
they were known for the rough, tough play, right? Which was not your style of play.
No, they intimidated guys. I just skated.
Did you feel super protected though? There at least.
Oh God, yeah.
Actually, now that I said that,
yeah,
you almost got me fucking killed.
I didn't do anything.
What happened?
Well, we were just friends from the year before.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, we were.
I don't.
We were at the showcase because they used to have that showcase in junior A in Summerside.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And,
wow, I was on the ice. Wow.
I was stretching. I think it was in warm up. I was stretching by the red line. You came over. You and Wiggy, and then a guy named Graham Telford came over.
That's right, that big bastard.
Yeah, he's
Holy
like
shit.
6'6" or so, and he just like threatened you or something like that.
He was screaming.
Yeah, and he pushed me away type thing because he thought that they were chirping me or whatever, but I didn't tell him otherwise. Anyway. So
yeah, he was after me all game, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't do anything. I was just saying what's up.
You're just stretching by the line talking to him, so he thought you were...
Actually, I got traded for Pisano. Remember Pisano?
That's right.
Yeah, so I got traded for him, and I remember the first shift, I was like, all right, I don't care how big he is, I'm going to hit this guy to show Billy that, because it was Billy McGuigan at the time. He was the coach there, and I was like, I want to be here. I want to play. So I dumped in his corner, and he went back to get it, and I went full speed, and I hit him so hard, he literally went... And I just bounced off him. Like, he didn't even move. Like, I don't even think he felt me hit him.
Coaches love that shit.
Yeah.
That's
and I was just like, I got off the ice. I was like, yeah, this is not good.
Coaches love that shit.
Because he's like 6'7". He was a monster. And he's like 245. Yeah. Like, he's a big boy. And I literally I felt like I ran into the boards.
I remember when I found that out, I was pumped but pissed.
Yeah.
I was on the Lumberjacks and we were getting Pisano.
Yeah.
But then we lost Bullen too. Because half the reason you pick a place to play is your buddies, right? Like...
I remember that guy. He was playing in Bridgewater. We had a guy that we called on our team who was amazing. His name was Brendan Taylor. Him and I didn't really get along that well. I'm not going to talk about that now, but I remember his first game in Bridgewater, Pisano just lays him out, and I'm on Brennan's line, right? So I got to be the guy that just fucking drops the gloves and goes with Pisano. But I remember during the warm-up, me and Brendan had a beef in the dressing room. It was just like we were talking about something about points, passing, I don't know, anything. We weren't on good terms, but we're on the same line together. He just gets laid out by Pisano. Pisano looks at me. I just, no problem, buddy. Good hit. Good hit. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to change here. Good hit. Good hit. I'll see you later.
Nice hit, man. Nice hit.
See you later.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He was a monster. There were some big boys in that league, actually. Like, I watched the game this
Summerside.
Year. That was a different breed of junior A hockey.
That was the last year, I think, where...
Yeah. Well, fighting. You could fight as many times as you want then. Now there's like that 5-fight rule or whatever.
Yeah,
but like at that point, like...
5 in your career.
I remember we played Pictou one game, and there was literally probably 3 line brawls. Like, it was insane. I was like, what am I doing right now? Like, every time there was a hit, there was a fight. And I was just like...
How much gear did you have to clean up in your time in Miramichi?
No, yeah, I pushed a lot of elbow pads.
Oh, God, man.
Man, Miramichi is an exact place where you have to get over... not controversy. You have to get over a hump in your junior career. That's the one game you go in there for your first time. You could be a 16, 17-year-old, and you almost become a man after. You have to go into it and be like, okay, fuck, this is going to be an actual...
It's a real good point.
It's a hockey game that you have never played before. You might have to fight. You might get a concussion. Something's going to happen. But when it's over, you kind of feel like you've made a step in your hockey career, even if you didn't play a single shift.
Yeah.
I remember going in there once. I was on the 4th line the game before. Where do you make the road trip before Miramichi?
Campbellton?
Dieppe. I think it was Dieppe.
Yeah, you could do that. But usually it was Campbellton.
Dieppe was Sunday afternoon, On the way back.
Or Woodstock.
Thursday, Friday,
Actually, you know what? It might have been Woodstock. So anyways, we're coming from Woodstock, I think, or Campbellton, whatever. I played like shit the night before. So we come to Miramichi. I'm on the 4th line. And, you know, the next game after that was a big game. We were going into playoffs, I'm pretty sure. And I remember Troy was pissed at me. I was playing terrible. So I'm on the 4th line. I'm not going to get any ice time tonight. So I'm like, fuck, Justin, you got to do something. You got to step up. You got to do something here. So warm up. I just find a guy. I don't even know who it was. To this day, I don't even know who it was. I just found a guy. He looked my size, looked my build. I'm like, hey, buddy, listen, I need you to do me a favor. We got to go. You know, I'm on the 4th line. I shouldn't be here. Let's go. He's all right, bud. No problem. We'll go. So first shift that I got on, 4th shift of the game, 4th line, we just go. And that was one of my biggest moments in hockey, just coming over adversity, because I'm never on the 4th line in junior A, humble brag. But I remember that being a big moment of mine in Miramichi.
I think it was I want to say McQuaid or something.
McQuaid or something.
Ethan McQuaid.
I'm gonna find out here. You just give me a minute.
He could chuck him, man. He was good too.
But I just saw him. I was warming up when he was skating the red line, and I rarely skate the red line. I keep my distance. I'm trying to warm up. But on the fourth line, I don't give a fuck. I got to do something to step up here. And I just saw him, look my size, look my height. And I'm like, hey, man, you got to do me a favor here. Do you mind if we go? And he's like, yeah, sure, we'll go. And
might have been McSwain. There's two.
That's what it is. McSwain. It was McSwain.
He was my roommate in there.
Was he a good guy?
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he seemed like it.
He could hold his own too. Like he was a pretty strong boy. He's a PEI kid, so all of them can fight, man.
I love these
tough.
Yeah, they're tough boys over there.
I love these fights now. Not love them, but actually no, I do love them where they're mic'd up. And you can hear them say, okay, let's get set first. Yeah. Okay, now let's start going. Yeah. And then you'll hear, I remember Brandon Prost, shout out, he was on the show. He was fighting someone, I think it might have been someone with the Rangers.
Ronaldo, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Ronaldo. Philly, you're right. He's like, hey, my shoulder's dislocated, so just give me a sec. Let me switch. And then he punches with his left hand. Stuff like that I love in fights.
That's what a lot of people don't get, though. Like, those who are, like, anti-fighting. Yeah. They don't get that, like, these guys, like, it does, like... It does suck and there is risk with it, but like these guys know what they're doing. Like they're all friends. Like very rarely are fights made out of like a hateful, like in spite of something. You know what I mean? Like it's usually agreed upon and they know what they're doing. And like they're the nicest guys on the team. Everybody loves the fighters on
every
the team.
time.
Everyone. Yeah.
So here's the thing for me with on the fighting tidbit here. Nobody gets upset at the risk that your kid has going to school every day, potentially being bullied and getting in a fight.
Yeah.
So when you're organizing it and it's meant to be for something, like most guys don't fight in the NHL just for shits.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You're either trying to prove yourself, you're trying to spark your team, or you're just super, super, super pissed off. Yeah. Someone did something, you know what I mean? But there's think about it. You go to school every day, how much do you hear about that kind of stuff? Yeah. Why isn't anybody talking? Like they're talking about it, but no one's like, oh, there's so much risk in that. So let's take it out of. You can't take it out of school. You can't take it out of hockey.
It's the whole like concussion discussion, right? And I get it. Like concussions suck, but you can get concussions from anything.
Yeah, like concussions don't come from fighting. They do, but I'd say more often than none, it's a hit to the head. Yeah, not a punch to the head.
That's what. Yeah, there's so many studies out there that go either way. So it's like you don't really know what to believe, I guess, right? But
bottom line is, concussions happen. Whether you're falling out of your bed or whether you're getting sucker punched in the side of the head, a concussion, it's never going to go anywhere. I realize, you can do things to limit it, but it's not going anywhere. So people need to get that out of their fucking heads that you're going to completely eliminate. You're not. Like he said, he broke his neck at 3 years old. How does that happen? Well, he can't do anything because he broke his neck back then. That's a good point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's. Yeah, it's. I mean, like, I'm not a fighter whatsoever, obviously, but like
that company here,
I love the aggressive side of hockey is what I love. Like guys like the Aginlas and Lucic and not James Neal, Jamie Benn. Sorry,
guys like Brendan Wright.
Ryder, shout out to Ryder.
Legend.
Yeah, like that's hockey, man. Like they go and they play, but if they have to answer the bell, they'll answer the bell, and they can handle their that's the hockey that I like, and you don't see that too much anymore, and it's kind of frustrating, right? But
that was the one thing in the Kadri hit saga was why didn't he just make him answer the bell?
Oh, with DeBrusque?
It goes both ways.
Absolutely.
Though, right? It's not one-sided. Like they both should have known that this is what had to happen.
Well, you take out that instigator, then one of them can grab the other and say, well, you're fighting me no matter what. Exactly. And then they fight and it's done.
It's like in Shell 19. Exactly. The other guy goes no matter what, right? Exactly. Even if you jump him.
And then that whole thing's done. And then Kadri probably doesn't get suspended because he wouldn't have to do that later on. And DeBrusque doesn't run around like that anymore because he doesn't want to answer the bell every time.
Mm-hmm. Keep it in hockey.
No, I was hoping you guys were going to fight here. I was waiting for you guys to keep going.
Man, a lot of people don't get, though, like, on the Maple Leafs thing, like, the Maple Leafs were my second favorite team up until Vegas.
I'll be clear on something, too. I don't hate Boston. I just hate their fans.
I thought you were going to say Bullen. I thought you were going to say, I don't hate Bullen.
No, I don't. I was dislike them sometimes.
I was hyping up this fight between you two on the intro, so you got to give the fans something, but I get it.
I get it.
We agree on most things, honestly. Like,
it's just fun to chirp back and forth.
Yeah, I just tweet things and get a reaction out of people. Me too. And then now that Dudes is actually active on Twitter, I have someone to tweet back at. Before that, it was just boring. No one said anything.
And everyone always getting at me about Leafs. They always put Leafs in their response, and not fucking once do I mention Leafs at all, because
I don't get that either. Like, Boston beat the Leafs, but I never went on being like, oh yeah, like the Leafs suck. And
blah, blah, like that dick on NBC.
Yeah, like it can happen either way, man. I truly thought the Leafs are going to win this year. Like I thought they were going to beat them.
That's the way it goes. It's bullshit.
but I know they're going to have their number eventually, so I'm not going to boast and brag about it now. And then
I said I didn't hate Boston, but I think I might retract what I said. I dislike them heavily.
Why?
Well, Toronto can't beat them, first of all, so that'll be the first Leafs reference I'll make for all you idiots that keep chirping me about the Leafs. I lost my train of thoughts. Now I just want to give it to people, but
You hate Boston, that dick from NBC.
well, that guy's we're going to leave him out of it because he's basically I was just helping my own publicity, that's all.
I'm helping.
He has a job.
He's
at NBC.
verified, so
He's verified on
yeah, so him tweeting at me is actually doing me a favor.
I saw you
right?
poke at it. Yeah, I was like, this is awesome. I liked it. I was like, I want to follow this.
So I've been giving it to him a little bit anyway. He's just a homer.
Yeah.
He's pure Boston, doesn't care. And this is why I hate Boston fans. Now I'm sparked. Is, for example, that guy puts up a video of a play of two guys racing after a puck. They finally get into each other's lane, and they called it a slew foot. I didn't care about the slew foot thing at all. It was the fact that Boston won, but their fans were still bitching about the NHL hates the Bruins, wham, like this and that. This should have been a penalty. Who gives a fuck? It should have been a penalty 24 hours ago, but your team still won. But it's just and they're like, well, Leafs fans are like that. No, we're not. We bitch when we lose, and that's it.
Yeah.
We don't chirp everybody else except for Montreal. 'Cause that's just.
You got to chirp Montreal.
But when you keep losing to Boston, that's when you get a little more active on it, right?
So you're saying you hate Boston as a team or the fans of Boston?
the fans.
Okay, I was going to say, because I like
Marchand. I love Marchand.
I was going to say, I love the Boston team. I think they're an upscale version of
Yeah, I love the city.
like the Philadelphia Flyers back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like they're gritty, but they have skill. I love the fact that Marchand, people think he's an agitator. Sure, he is. That's what he does for a living, but he's a skilled individual.
Yeah.
Well, you don't put up 30 plus goals for 5 straight seasons if you're just an agitator. I hate to break it to
But
you.
no, you go.
Did you read that article that he wrote in I think it was the Players Tribune?
Oh, yeah.
When he said why he's an agitator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I forget. What did he say?
It's because he was smaller and his coach told him that he has to separate himself from the group. He was skilled, but he needed to separate something else if you want to take the next step. And he's like, so I decided just to piss off the other team. He's like, so I just went with that. He's like, it worked. They got mad. They got penalties.
How much more frustrating it is that the guy that's in your face, you're calling him a pussy or whatever, he's garbage, and then he puts 3 goals up too.
Oh, it's the most irritating thing
That's
of all
enough to
time.
go. It goes right through your whole team.
That's why I say he is the best irritator ever, and I think maybe all of sports for a couple reasons. And what other sports? I know you guys might be, but I'm not the most educated in other sports. But what other agitator do you know of that is a pure agitator and doesn't have the skill?
Yeah.
Look at Marchand, the most skill in the world, top 5, questionably top 10 best player in the NHL. But on top of that, he's the best agitator, in the NHL.
Yeah.
Where else do you find that?
It's not. There's no debate. I don't think.
And not even in the game of hockey, out in just the regular world, the Twitter world, when he was giving those one-word answers to the guy from CBC,
Bukakis, or whatever.
he set the hockey world on fire. He put them into a frenzy, and that's exactly what he wants. Everyone that's, Marchand, he's an idiot. He gets $6.1 million. Be a professional. Talk. He doesn't give a flying. You know what?
Yeah.
He's out here to win a Stanley Cup. He'll do anything possible. You can't tell me all 3 of us sitting right here wouldn't do anything.
And here's
to win a cup.
Another
Anything.
part of that too. And
Step on a stick.
Let me know if you agree on this. Is that when you're taking all that heat, whether it's the media or whatever, guess what isn't on your team now? All that pressure and all that shit, because now all the cameras are on him now because he's doing the 1-word answers and everyone's freaking out about it, but no one's worrying about the rest of his team so they can go about their business.
And Marchand was built for that.
Distraction. That's what he's meant to create space. He's creating space off the ice as well as on the ice.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's a skill in itself too. I mean, you were a chirper.
Good point.
It's hard to for myself personally, you knew I was having a bad game if I was chirping you.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't play and then chirp. I wasn't that kind of guy.
It is tough.
So being able to agitate and still produce and be a good functioning hockey player, that's a skill. That's hard to do.
I never thought about it from that perspective. Because when you're trying to chirp and you're trying to do that, you completely forget about putting the puck in the net.
Exactly.
But if you're able to do both,
For myself anyway.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's a tough line to walk too, because you look at a guy like Kadri, who is probably up there in agitators in the NHL, but he just doesn't walk. He's walking the fine line, but he crosses it too often, because you can't be like Marchand doesn't. He gets caught up in it here and there, but that happens to anybody in the game. But it's not constantly someone greases him and he retaliates every time. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for him to be that conscious while playing almost 2 different games is insane. So he's worrying about the whole other team and his game.
And I'm not like, I won't ever defend everything Marchand does.
No.
But if you actually watch him on a regular basis, he puts up with a lot of stuff too. And like, he brings it on. I'm not saying he doesn't, but he gets a lot of cheap shots on him too that he just, eventually it's going to boil up, right? And you're going to get pissed off. But
Here's a question. Is he a Hall of Famer?
nah, I can't see it.
From my very biased East Coast point of view, yes.
Yeah, I'd love to see him, but I just don't know. If they won another cup, maybe.
Here's the thing, though. He might have another 10 years in the league. He might consistently put up 30, 40, 25 plus goals a year.
That's true.
It could potentially put him in there. You know?
Okay, then does Boston retire number 63 at the end of his career?
It's too much of a hypothetical, I think.
Is it?
It's impossible to reach for answers, I feel, on this one.
I don't think it is. I think he's the most beloved athlete in Boston other than Brady and Gronk. And
Right now, but what
maybe Paul Pierce.
What if something happens?
Bergeron.
What if he doesn't re-sign in Boston at some point?
I don't know, man. I think where else could he play in the NHL? I don't think he was born, like I think they said that in the Players Tribune. He's born to be a Boston Bruin. He can't play anywhere else.
He does fit in great with that city, though.
He fits in amazingly. Maybe Philadelphia, but it's too late in his career. I don't know. I think he's going to do great things there.
Yeah.
He already has.
Oh yeah. If he keeps it up, I don't know. Like your point about the Hall of Fame thing and points wise. If he keeps going what he's doing,
if they're a contender every year, man, and he's the front and center of that, he'll be considered.
It's
but
hard to argue.
I'm going to get away from Marchand because it actually is kind of pissing me off a little bit, and I'm going to go back to Bullen.
Trying to deflect here.
So you're coaching now.
I am. Yep.
Can we talk about Royal Military College before we talk about coaching?
Sure, I was kind of leading in, but
okay, no, you go. Yeah, no, you go. Sorry.
I wanted him to. Okay, yeah. So junior A, then you went to RMC. We'll get to that, but I just wanted to know: was there ever a point in your post-midget career where you thought, okay, I'd really like to coach?
Well, I coached once when I played midget house. I coached Timbits Novice Advance and Eastern Shore. Was
that frustrating? Sorry to interrupt you. Was that frustrating coaching that level?
Then it wasn't.
Okay.
When I try to now, it can be.
Okay.
Only because teaching those like fundamental skills is a lot harder than one would think. Because like to us, it just comes naturally. So like I don't really think about how I'm actually doing it.
Second nature for you now, right?
That's why Gretzky was a terrible coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, keep going.
But there's like Aaron King is a great developmental coach.
Absolutely.
Like he can break it right down to basics and teach everyone how to start. I personally can't, so it gets frustrating. I like coaching kids who already have the fundamentals, and then you just kind of fine tune them.
For sure.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So was there like a point where you wanted to like pursue, like move farther with coaching?
Yeah. No, I always knew when I finished playing I wanted to coach. It's like a whole new side of the game that I like to think that I had a successful playing career. And like I don't want to say mastered the game of hockey, but I did pretty well with it.
Certain areas, probably.
Exactly. So now I want to master this other side of hockey, which is coaching, and
it keeps you close to the game, man.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Like being in the rink.
No, it's a blast.
Mastered feeding me the puck.
Feeding you the puck.
Watching him muffin them into the corner because he's still using a fucking junior stick.
Hey, they went in though.
They went in.
That's all I cared about.
More than you.
No, he didn't.
No,
want me to pull his stats up?
That 1 year I played. If I played for 3 years, I would have had more points than
dusted
you.
an assist if you actually look at it.
What?
I pounded you in goals, so.
If you took all the points I had in 1 year and you times them by 3, I would have more points than you.
No, that's
I still remember
that's another hypothetical.
I still remember one game you had. I think it was you had 2 goals and maybe an assist or 2, and then you had like 36 penalty minutes too.
Yeah, that happened a lot.
You got like 2 10s that game, and then you were just in the box and then out get a goal and then back in the box.
If you think about it from my point of view, taking a 10 is actually way less selfish than taking a 2 and putting us down.
That's true.
I'll give you that.
That's true.
So,
back to Bullen.
RMC. When did you want to go there? When did you decide? Why? Pick your order.
How was Hell Week?
I didn't do it, so I'll get to that. Yeah. So my 20 year there in Bridgewater, I sent out some feelers to schools, like just like a blanket email to everyone.
Good call.
And I got a few in return.
Do you remember any other ones?
Yeah, I got one from Guelph, Ryerson. There was a school in the States, but I missed like the SAT deadline or whatever, so I couldn't do that.
That's fine.
It's overrated.
Yeah. I think there was a couple more. I'm not sure. But and then RMC called, and having family in the military. So like my father was military. My grandfather, I have 4 uncles, 4 cousins, like my brother. Like, so the whole family is military. It was cheaper tuition and stuff at the time. And I was like, well, I wouldn't mind like trying to serve. It's not as easy as it seems when you get there, but I was like, I want to attempt it. My whole family does it. So then I just decided on RMC, and then had a good talk with Scheller. He was the coach at the time there, and he was saying that they always give rookies like a chance as soon as they come in to get the minutes they want, and he was true to that. Like, if you played well, you played. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a fourth year. And so yeah.
When you made your decision to go there, was there people there that you had already known? Because I know Ryder went,
yeah,
Ramey went, but were those guys already set in place when you decided? I guess basically my question was, the guys that you knew or played with previously, was it a factor in going there?
Ryder was a big factor.
Absolutely.
Because obviously that's one of my best friends. And I had to sit out a year because of like military side of things. So I ended up sitting out that year after my 20 year. So I sat
your first year there?
So I didn't even go to school that year. So I just sat a full year out here, and I coached actually again. I coached high school that year. And then I went up to RMC the next year, and then Ramey went too. So like there's two of my best friends
right there
at the same school with me.
No brainer.
Yeah, exactly. So it made the transition. I didn't see Ryder much because he was on the cadet side, and me and Ramey were on like the reservist side.
Okay. What's the difference?
Is
it too long?
No, it's not too long, but it's I think it puts it in perspective of how hard the school is, and like people are always quick to say like, oh, like RMC is not that good or whatever, right? But they don't understand that these cadets, like these full-time officers, they literally get up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning, do training till about 6:37, then they do full day of school from like 8 to 4:30, go to the rink and practice from 5 to 6:30, and then go back and either do some military training and then homework and then repeat again. So 5 days a week they're doing that, and they're playing hockey on top of that. Like our captain there, he was doing
was it Louis Size?
No, that was my last year there.
Okay.
Louis says, yeah, he's a beauty.
Oh, he played for the Mooseheads, didn't he?
Yeah. He's an honorary maritimer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And but our captain for my first 2 years there, he wanted to be an astronaut, so he was doing like this crazy like aero science. I don't even know what it was.
You met someone that wants to be an astronaut.
Yeah, so he was in the cadet
after
side.
5 years old.
Yeah. And anyway, he was smart as a whip, but he was like, so his homework was like ridiculous, like mathematical scientist, like, you know what I mean, like
looking
crazy
at rocks and shit.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because most people just they think, okay, military college, we know what that's about, but you just see the on ice product, whether it's a tweet,
exactly,
whether it's an Instagram video, that's what they see. Nobody really sees the actual, like, I'm not going to call it the negative side, I'm just going to call it the less, I guess, the tougher road of hockey is dealing with everything else, especially in that scenario, right?
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of pride on the line.
Did you have to go through that week where you have to wake up, make your bed, and
no?
What's that week I'm talking about? FIOP.
First year orientation period, I think it is.
Yeah.
So essentially, when we were doing training camp, the cadets would be at FIOP, and like they would like come over and sleep in the locker room because like they technically weren't allowed to do sports or anything. They had to stay on campus and train like, for the full. I think it was a month. Wow. I could be wrong, but it's
they
something
couldn't
like
play
that.
at all.
Yeah, so they could get out to exhibition games, but practices they might not have been able to make it.
Holy shit!
Man, that's such a sacrifice.
So like they would be like, they'd come over and then they would just sleep. Like the coach would be like, just rest, because like they weren't allowed. Like they were up at like 4 every day, go to bed at like 12, and then get up at 4 again and they're like training all day.
Did you have to wear a uniform all day?
No, cadets did obviously, but the reservists, we didn't have to. We essentially what we had to do was we lived off campus, paid tuition, and it was like a normal university for us, but then we'd have to do like our military training at like a reserve unit.
Okay.
So we'd go like once, twice a week or whatever it was, and then in the summers do our training if that worked out.
I have a buddy that went to Queens, and he said that once a year, he went over to your school, and there was a rivalry game.
Yeah, Car Harris Cup.
Talk about that. He said it was insane.
Who's it against?
What's that?
Who's it against?
It was Queens and RMC.
Oh, that's right. They're like the Royal Cup or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's like the oldest hockey rivalry in North America or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it goes back a long time, and it's a huge recruiting tactic for the coaches there. It's a blast, man. You play in the K-Rock Center, which is like where the Kingston Frontenacs play.
In the OHL?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, it's packed. Like they make our school, every cadet has to go and watch. So they're in their like red uniforms and stuff. The bands are playing and stuff. And it's
that's sick.
Pictures of it look sick.
Yeah, it's honestly the funnest time of the year. It's called Rivalry Week because we play them, and then we also either go down to the States or they come up to us and we play the Army school from the US.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So West Point, so they're a D1 school, and then so it's rivalry week. So we'll play them, and then we'll play Car Harris Cup after that, and that's the Challenge Cup, I think. So that's like, I think that's the oldest international game
Yeah.
of ice hockey. It's
crazy.
fun, man. It's crazy. Yeah, it's insane.
Are you a big crowd guy? Do you like to feed off the crowd, or are you are you one of those guys that just blocks it out?
No, it was my best games were probably those 2 games of the year, because like university hockey is very underrated, and it doesn't
extremely underrated.
Yeah, it doesn't get a lot of credit, and so a lot of fans don't go. But
That probably gets a lot.
oh yeah, no, it's packed. It was
RMC always packed?
no,
No.
man, we had a rough. The 3 years I was there was rough. Like our first year we were all right. Second year we had our starting goalie, or a goalie recruit from the WHL, I think it was, couldn't get in. So then we missed out on him. Then our other goalie had to leave. So we were down to our third string, which was, he was actually really good. He played well for us. But then after him, we had no one. So we had to call up cadets who played like midget A or something like that the year before.
Not
and
big
then,
crowds, eh?
No, and then he got hurt. So we didn't win a game that year.
Not one?
Not one.
So back to Eastern Shore.
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you peaked at max.
Oh,
Or I
yeah.
guess junior A.
Don't you remember the Chronicle Herald followed him around for that practice? He was wearing them size 6.5 youth Reebok skates.
And at the max?
Remember they did a big article on him because he was absolutely tearing the league apart for the first little bit?
Oh yeah, maybe I do remember that.
I still have the article, so one day Johnny kept it.
Oh yeah.
You guys will, once I find this shit, man, you guys are going to love Johnny.
I had like Reebok 4Ks or something.
There were
The
three.
Reebok
3Ks.
Man,
But
that
you
was
still
a-
got to use skates, right? So they were cheap.
That was an awkward time, and they were just falling around. Anyway,
So RMC, did you go 4 years or 3?
I went 3. Yeah.
3. Was there ever a point while you were there where you thought, man, why did I do this?
Yeah, but not for the reason why, like not for military wise. Mm-hmm. It was more like, so I never really spoke to anyone about it, like RMC wise. I wouldn't say I was the best teammate up there.
Okay.
Because I was going through a rough time, because I had to sit out that year before, and it was like, so I came off a junior where I was like a really good hockey player, like I did really well in junior, and I knew I could do well in university, but that year off kills you.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm playing beer league hockey.
No game
Your
situations.
cardio
nothing.
shit.
Exactly, and like you can never. I found for myself I could never catch up. Like I could never get back into shape like that, like I wanted to. So it was frustrating because I was, not only were we not winning, but like I wasn't able on a personal level to produce the way I wanted to help the team out. So then you put that. So like hockey was always your escape, right?
Yeah.
Whenever life was hard, hockey was fun for you. Hockey wasn't fun for me there, only because like I wasn't doing what I knew I could do for them.
So now you have to find another escape.
Exactly. And then school was extremely hard up there because it's a hard
Strict.
institute. Exactly. I wasn't doing well in school up there. And then the military side, I wasn't doing well in the military
You're being
side.
yelled at all the time.
Exactly.
Now.
So like everywhere up there I was just always getting stressed and anxiety and stuff, and it was a very stressful time. But like they were all good guys and everything, and like they were a bunch of beauties up there. It's just it was a rough time. But
It's another good point that you brought up about the hockey being the escape, and then sometimes it's just not going the way you pictured it, and now you have to find another escape, which is essentially probably where a lot of people end up with their issues and their problems, right?
exactly, yeah.
If you lean on something and that's just you, that's your blood, and then all of a sudden now that's not working for you.
Yeah.
That's tough, right? But and a lot of people don't talk about it, which is good. I'm glad that you could.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, like you said, you go there, and like in junior, obviously you don't play every game good. Like you don't have a good game every time, but you know it's just a game or two.
Yeah.
When it's like game after game after game after game, you just can't find yourself. And
the most frustrating thing in the world.
Exactly. And
Well, everyone else is progressing, and you're still trying to catch.
exactly.
Right? So
and like you can, and you're like, I don't want to say you're better than someone else or whatever, but like, all right, I can do this, I can do what he is doing, I can do this, but I just
don't think it's wrong for you to think that you're better than somebody else. It's just wrong to say it.
fair enough.
You know?
But yeah,
true.
no. So I was very like, I was secluded, I guess, in a way. Like I hung out with them and stuff, but I was also like oftentimes off my own, because like I was always mad up there for some reason. I just couldn't find that thing to kind of make me happy
Yeah,
again.
exactly,
So it was,
that
That's
twitch.
not healthy.
exactly. No, absolutely
Were
not.
you able to hang out with Ryder a lot during those times? Because I feel like
Yeah,
you know,
second year I was. Second, third year we hung out a lot. I lived with Ramey all 3 years too.
Okay.
So that was fun having him around.
So Ryder, I don't know if you know like the whole connection there. So Bullen, we're playing Lumberjacks. We're playing Lumberjacks.
Yeah.
And he came down from PEI, right? He was the fighter, Brennan Wright.
Yeah, Summerside.
So we were like, oh, fuck, like another fighter, like, come on. But anyways, he was wicked because he played in the queue. He held his own up there. So anyways, he's like our tough guy, nicest fucking guy ever, man. Like goofiest guy, big teddy bear. He's always hugging everybody.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what, 6'2", 6'3",
6'2",
maybe?
yeah.
So he got huge rider, tough as nails, missing teeth, scars everywhere. He's fighting for everybody. And then you got little Bullen. playmaker, goal scorer, not saying shit to anybody, and then they're bam. These two are inseparable, man.
Yeah.
Ryder lived at your house, if I'm not mistaken, for the whole year.
Yeah.
And like everything they did was just together. You know what I mean? It was just it was so weird but wicked at the same time. It just proves, just it could be anybody. You know, it was amazing.
I remember his first shift. He forgot his skates or something like that, so his dad shipped him up skates. But he sent him. He had like 2 pairs of the same ones, but one was a size bigger.
No.
So he had like one size smaller than the other. And his first shift in the lumberyard, he took a stride off the bench. He went on a forecheck, and it was over in the far corner, went D to D and up, and he was going after that D, and he just wiped out, and he slid from like the blue line into the corner. And my mom still tells him all the time. She's like, the first time I saw that, I was like, what did we pick up?
What did your parents think about Ryder? Obviously they loved him, but it would have been weird probably, since you said you were like more of a secluded guy, you kind of like to keep to yourself. Now all of a sudden you have this guy that you're just like spending every day with, you know?
Well, it was they didn't even know him, and we were just talking one day, and I honestly don't even remember how we became friends there. Like, I don't remember when the first time. The only thing I remember him doing is smacking my stick out of my hand when I was taping it once, and I was like, I hate this guy.
And a bomb was created.
I was so mad. He just came up like, this was his first practice, didn't know him. He just walked by and goes boom and smacks my stick. And I was like, what in the hell? Anyway, and then we just started talking, and then he was saying that he lived in an apartment or something, I don't know, and he was like,
it was some weird setup.
Yeah, like in the basement of a mansion in like the South End.
Some Jimbo scheme,
yeah, Jimbo do, I don't know.
Jimbo scheme.
And so he's like, yeah, I can't live here because I have to pay rent, and I don't have a job or anything to pay rent. And I was like, well, we have a spare room, like, let me ask my parents. And I was like, hey, do you mind if we bill it to someone?
That's sick.
And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, like, we have a spare room and stuff. And my dad's like, we don't have an extra bed or anything, though. He's like, yeah, but I mean, he doesn't have anywhere to live. And they were like, well, I guess we could think about it. And then, like, literally 3 days later, he moved in.
It was a big day in the dressing room.
He walks in.
Yeah, because Ryder had all his shit at the rink.
Like
Yeah,
clothes
that's right,
and
yeah.
He
stuff.
packed everything and just like everything he had, and he just shows up at the rink with everything, and we're all like, what the fuck? Like,
You're moving into the
and
room?
he's like moving into the Bullen residence, and we're like, yeah! Like, sick, man.
Well, we're a short family. We're like what is it, that tiny family, big world or whatever.
Yeah, Ryder gets out of the car. He's
Tiny
like,
family, big world.
So he walks in the front door, and we have a chandelier in our hallway, and he just smacks his head off at the first thing.
do you find Ryder kind of helped you? I don't even know if you were in a shell, but just kind of helped you come out of it more, because he was more of a
Outgoing guy.
yeah. I wouldn't say confrontational, but he was just like, he would talk to you no matter what.
Yeah.
There was no awkwardness when
Tell
he
you
was
what he's
around.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think so. He, I was always outgoing with people. I just didn't.
You didn't seek it out.
Yeah, I didn't go out of my way to go out. Like if I was at a group party or something like that, like I'll hang out and stuff. But I don't look to go out and hang out with people and stuff like that. But
Yeah, so you weren't the weird guy just sitting over there like not talking anyway.
yeah, like if I'm out and about and with people, I'll hang out and I'll talk and stuff. It's just I don't go out of my way to do it. But he forced me to go downtown every time there.
Legend. He was I love him, man. Because I played with him in Warrens, and it was just it was a great year. That was another fun year.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah, that was probably that and Max were my 2 favorite years of hockey. And he, my dad liked him more than he liked me. Actually, like watching him play. I remember that fight.
Spike
he had.
loves the hard.
Yeah,
nose,
remember that
eh?
fight he had in Dieppe and Bridgewater against that guy in Dieppe, that high stick Dimmy.
Oh, and
he like one punched him and then brought him back up and then one punch him again and brought him up and one punch him again. My dad still talks about that fight. He's like, I've never seen a guy fight better in my life than that. He loves it.
Hockey dads have like a couple memories of
Oh,
their
yeah.
kid's carear.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even of their kid.
Yeah,
Most
exactly.
times.
He doesn't
Most
care
times
about
it's
mine.
not.
Yeah.
It's just all about that.
they just remember the negative stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Before we an hour. Before we get closed up, though, I did want to touch on coaching a little bit.
Yeah.
I know you said you had planned on doing it, and you were an assistant coach with the Voyageurs for your first year, I think, or was it the first two?
First year.
So now you're the head coach.
Yep.
Do you find it similar to being in like a leadership role in hockey, or is it more? Do you have to be more of a hard-nosed kind of guy?
I think nowadays it's similar to that. It's similar to being a player in a leadership role, because I went in there this year for like last year that just passed, my first year head coach, and I was like, I think you got to go in like the hard ass approach, kind of like what we grew up on, like hold everyone accountable, like as a team and stuff.
Not your friend.
You fucking piece of shit.
Exactly, like that coach off Letterkenny there.
Yeah.
Kicks the can. So anyway, but I realized early on that someone, I forget who I was talking to, I can't remember, but they told me that you almost have to coach. Actually, I think it was Chris Donnelly was telling me this, that you have to coach everyone nowadays like individually.
Yep.
You have to find out what.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you're almost coaching 20 kids, not like a team. It's 20 individuals.
So true.
So like you have to kind of find that line of being their friend nowadays and also like holding them accountable.
Well, now people don't trust you unless you're friends.
Exactly.
So no one takes just whatever anymore, right?
Like with Kirk, right? Like I was scared shitless of Kirk,
Me too,
so I
but
didn't
I
want to
loved
mess
him.
up. Exactly. So I played for him.
That's a good point.
And same as the coach in RMC my last year there, Limmer, he's there now. Great coaching, but he's scary. Like he'll hold you accountable, but he knows how to balance that. Like,
And that's a hard thing to balance.
exactly.
Absolutely.
So he can you can joke with him and talk with him. Like he's easy to approach and stuff. But at the same time, if you're his favorite player, and like every coach has their favorite players, but you mess up, you're sitting on the bench like he doesn't care type thing.
I like that.
Exactly.
Well, that's what you want.
But you can't do that in I don't think anymore.
No,
Where you just sit. I guess it's different where your parents
If
are
your
paying
parents
for
are
hockey.
paying,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but when it's like when you're just being
So
paid,
is
I
this
guess.
something you enjoy a lot? Obviously, that's a tough question because if you don't, you're not going to say it. But I enjoy coaching personally.
Yeah.
And it seems like you do.
Yeah, no, I love coaching.
Because that's
It's,
a great league that they
Yeah,
have there for producing. You know
pretty
what I
good
mean?
hockey. It's getting better every year. Like I know it's only going into its third year, but each year it's progressed a bit. Like, I mean, like Crooksy went up there, and there's the Basin team has 3 guys on the Q scouting list this year. Like,
Oh, wow.
So it's
It's a great thing for hockey because it kind of, in my opinion, it kind of went backwards with the Major Bantam thing.
Yeah.
Because it eliminated that like 2-3 years, or maybe not 3, but 2 years of your career where it's pretty. It's a big time, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't think of the word, but it's just like you either make it or you don't at that age, right?
Yeah.
Like major midget, you either move on to junior or whatever, or you just don't.
yeah, no, for sure.
But so I think it's great for the game, man.
And it's great for those kids that are in that awkward age where they're like grade 9s first year midget, and they don't have that high school option if they don't make midget. So it's like, what do you play?
Yeah.
And they could still play a competitive league.
Right,
But,
exactly. Still gives you hope.
Yeah,
Hope
exactly.
is the big thing. Opportunity. We
And
talk
that's-
about it all the time.
That's what it was built for, right? They didn't want kids to drop out and just play. And again, like nothing's wrong with high school, but they think that if you play high school, you're just going to play your 3 and then you're done. Maybe
That's
play
what
junior
everybody
B.
thinks.
Exactly. So they want to build that other league where, they could still have hopes of. And I think what happened with Crooksy was great for the league at the first year, like getting drafted to the Q and then playing major midget, because now people are like, all right, like you can
possible.
actually do something from this league.
And let's be honest, there's 20, maybe 24 spots available on a high school team, and there's probably, in the city high schools, probably 60, 70 kids that could probably play.
Yeah.
So where do those kids go?
Yeah,
They don't
exactly.
play major midget.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are big, big years, man.
Yeah. No,
So, yeah,
it's
it's good.
Speaking of midget, how was Tellus?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Thunder
Just-
Bay's a shithole, but everything else was great. Like
Garbage.
Hockey Canada knows how to put on a first class event.
Yeah. No,
For
that's good.
sure.
And it was great going up with the Max. Like if we would have went up with the Subways or something, it just wouldn't have been the same. Just you going up with the Max, people the
Part of your
parents.
heritage.
Yeah.
The parents welcomed us open arms,
They were
fed us.
great.
You're just a good group. Not even
Yeah.
the fact that they were with the Halifax McDonald's organization. It's just they're just good people.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Yeah,
Plain
good
simple.
people.
They seem to have
Yeah.
a close-knit team this year.
They do. They had a team kind of like ours in that third year where it was
Yeah.
kind of a mixture of guys from high school, guys from midget AAA, guys from that are returning, guys that one of the goalies played junior C his first year. You
It's
know
very
what I mean?
similar
So,
group
Yeah.
to when we played.
Yeah.
Very similar.
just a bunch of guys that believe and love.
Yeah, Tim doesn't care about where you played. If you're
No,
good,
no.
you're gonna make
And if you're-
he just wants to win, right? So if you're the best of the best and you play junior C, you're gonna play there.
That organization is really good at scouting. Really good at, connecting with people
Yeah.
and saying, listen, we got a goal here. We think you're part of that goal. I remember when even you, remember that year we came in, they're amazing at scouting.
Yeah.
They just found the right people,
Well, hell,
brought
I
them
was
in.
already there. I think it was-
Yeah. All right, boys.
That was great.
Before we end it, though, I want to do Stanley Cup prediction. So just the series, who you think is going to win each series right now, and then who's going to win the cup. So
Oh,
I'll
man.
say I think Boston's going to win, and I think St. Louis is going to win, and then I think Boston is going to beat St. Louis in the finals.
I can't speak on the Boston Carolina series.
Why not?
I'm too superstitious. So
All right,
I
well-
can't. But I think St. Louis is gonna beat San Jose.
Okay.
I'm glad you guys went first because I honestly couldn't remember who was playing. But now I know it's Boston and Carolina. And as much as I want Carolina to win, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And was it San Jose and St. Louis?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with St. Louis.
Okay, so then who you got in the finals? Who you got winning it all?
St. Louis. Fuck Boston.
Yeah, baby.
That's because of Joe Haggerty, isn't it?
All right. And
Exactly right. He ruined it.
last minute's yours, Bullen. If you want to thank family, friends, teammates, coaches,
Shout out anybody.
just shout out anybody you want to.
I think I shouted out everyone.
You sure?
I think so.
All right.
True.
All right, dudes, you don't know anyone. So everyone, thank you very much for tuning into the podcast. I appreciate it. Go to all of our social media outlets. I'm not going to, you know what to do. Mem Cup's around the corner. We're going to be trying to get some media access, do some things in the city. If not, we're definitely going to be on the streets talking to some drunk people, interviewing. It's just going to be a great summer. I got nothing else to say. The High Button lives on. Bullen, once again, thank you for coming on.
No worries, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, dudes.
Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off.
Let's
All
go,
right.
Let's go Kawhi.
That's Kawhi. And we're out. Peace.